Hi friends, I am Dr. Meghna. I am a psychiatrist and psychotherapist working out of Hyderabad. In this video, I would like to introduce you to 10 friends called the 10 Mind Sutras. And who are these Mind Sutras? These Mind Sutras are basically mind management tools from yoga, which have a very strong relation in our modern psychology. So let me introduce you to these 10 friends. They are basically the 5 yamas and 5 niyamas from Patanjali Yoga Sutras. If you have read about Yoga Sutras, and I'll be giving you the parallels in modern psychology. Let me introduce you to the first friend, who is called Ahimsa. Ahimsa or non-violence is the friend who calms you down whenever you are angry. You could think of him as a friend who knows all the latest anger management techniques and can help you resolve a solution and reach a solution. He'll help you manage any conflicts in your life, whether it is with life itself, whether it is with your loved ones or in your profession, very effectively and efficiently. The psychological correlate in modern psychology, which correlates with ahimsa, is the principle of self-responsibility. It has been shown that people who tend to blame others or blame the situation for whatever is happening in their life, they are more unhappy or mentally disturbed. They suffer from more anxiety and depression compared to people who take the responsibility of the situation. So people who take self-responsibility have that attitude is like, okay, whatever is there, but what can I do to deliver my best in this particular situation or with this particular set of people around me. And a psychologist, clinical psychologist, Edith Eger, who has written the book called The Choice, says that this choice, it rests with each one of us. Each one of us can decide whether we blame a situation and have a victim attitude, or we take self-responsibility and have a survivor or a challenger attitude. And there are psychological exercises, there are tools which can help you shift from a victim attitude to a challenger attitude. The second friend is called as Satya. You can think of Satya as a friend who helps you realize what is your real life purpose, and he supports you through everything. Now the question arises, why do people really give up on what they really want to do or the way that they want to be in life? It is usually because there is a conflict between being good versus being real. For example, there was this psychological study which was done amongst a lot of youngsters in American colleges. 82% of the boys in the study said that if they refused to play active sports, they were teased either by their family members or friends as saying that you are a girl, like don't behave like a girl. Or if they would cry, they would be their caregivers would say, don't cry like a girl. And this kind of shaming would lead boys not to emote freely or tell about their choices in especially amongst their peers. Now this kind of restriction which society kind of imposes on all of us, that we are supposed to behave in a certain manner just to be good, to be a good wife, to be a good mother, to be a good CEO of an organization, to be a good employee. This lays a lot of restriction on us, and especially when in stress, it can lead to a lot of mental problems like anxiety and depression. Again, mind management tools exist which can help you to be as real as possible. For example, assertiveness. Assertiveness is a tool where you can be good and real at the same time. The third friend is called as Asteya. Asteya is the friend who asks you not to compare with others, especially in this today's world of social media, where everybody is suffering from this FOMO or FOBO, as they call it, fear of missing out or fear of having too many options. This is the time where this friend called Asteya can ask you to believe in yourself rather than compare with others. Again, there have been psychological studies which show that people who compare less with others and who can, for small things like people who can keep off their social media for just a weekend or for few hours a day, actually have better mental health compared to people who tend to compare themselves on Instagram and Facebook with their peers. Fourth friend is called as Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is a friend who will inspire you to give your creative best. He will inspire you to be a genius in whichever field you are pursuing. The psychological correlate of this, you could think of it as our ability to connect the dots. For example, Steve Jobs, when he was doing his college, he had taken up calligraphy. At that point, people said, what is the whole use of calligraphy? I mean, like, it's of no use anywhere. But when he became the founder of Apple Computers, one of the first things he did was he introduced different calligraphy styles or fonts as we know them today. And that became a major advantage of Apple over Microsoft because it had that kind of feel, that personalization, which at that point other software programs were not offering. So genius or creativity is the ability to connect the dots, to ability to connect things which other people cannot, but you know in your heart that you can. And like I said, the psychological correlation of it would be just having some me time, just a walk in the mornings where you can just let your mind give it some time to connect the dots rather than just ticking off list from your checklist as to what is the next thing to do. So that would be the psychological correlation of Brahmacharya, or the ability to connect the dots. The fifth friend is called as Aparigraha. You can think of Aparigraha as a very simple-minded friend with whom you can go on long hikes just carrying a backpack, and that lets you experience true freedom. The psychological correlate of Aparigraha is minimalism. It has been again proved that people who can let go of their materialistic possessions or emotions actually have better mental health compared to people who are trying to amass the next big thing, the next big phone or car or next big promotion. When you're running behind something, it actually takes away a lot of your mental peace. Sixth friend is called as Shauch or purity. You could think of Shauch as a very pure-hearted friend who would tell you that the way that you view the world, he has a very clean approach about looking at people and at the world and helps you do the same. The psychological correlate of this is very interesting. That is because our mind cannot know the difference between real and imaginary. So there was a Harvard study which was done in which people were asked to play music on a piano. They were put in one room. In another room, people were asked to just imagine that they were playing the piano and just play the music in their head without actually hitting the keys. And in the third room, people were put where they were not doing anything related to music or the piano. And when their mind scans were done, it was shown that people who actually played the piano and people who just imagined playing the piano, the same areas of the brain were activated. So basically, our brain does not know whether we are just thinking of an activity or we are actually doing that activity. The purer way that you think of an activity that it will happen, it actually manifests. So there are a lot of psychological correlation of this would be rational affirmations. Like the more affirmations we do, the possibility that those things happen. Of course, they should be rational, not just positive. The more rational affirmations we have in our life, the likelihood of those events actually happening in our life is much higher. The seventh friend is Santosha. You could think of Santosha as a friend who accepts you the way that you are, who doesn't want to change you, any aspect of you, just enjoys everything that you stand for. And Santosha, literally the psychological correlate of this would be gratitude. When you accept everything in your life with thankfulness, it does not mean that you stop working for better things, but already the things that you have, it starts from there. Like you be grateful for the friends you have, the food you have, the family members you have, and from that platform you start trying to achieve whatever you are achieving. It leads to much better mental health. It was found in studies that people who were asked to deliver a letter of thank you note to somebody that they have been wanting to but could not, they were asked to write that note and deliver it to that person, and it was seen, and then their happiness index was measured every week for the next 1 month, and it was seen that their happiness score were higher even after a month of delivering that note compared to the other people who had not done so. The eighth friend is called as Tapas. Tapas is a friend who asks you to let go of your short-term gratifications for your long-term goals, who keeps on reminding you that you would rather focus on your long-term goals, rather give in to short-term pleasures. Again, the psychological correlate is a very interesting experiment which was called as the marshmallow experiment. There were kids who were put in one room and they were said that they can either have, they were given chocolates and they were said either they can have the candy right away or they could wait for some time. And if they wait for some time, they get to have another candy. So if they wait, they would be rewarded by having 2 candies instead of 1. These children were then followed by psychologists for next 40 years. And it was seen that over a period of next 40 years, these people were not just successful in their lives, they had better health and better relationships too. Thus, the ability to delay gratification is one of the most important indicators or determinants of success, health, and happiness in life. The ninth friend is called as Swadhyay. Swadhyay literally means self-study. He is a friend who constantly asks you to introspect and change the part or the thought or the action which is not working for you, and constantly keep on introspecting and removing the things which are not really working for you and keep on building on things which are helpful to you. Journaling is a very, very important self-improvement tool. If you could just start your day by noting down the things that you would want to accomplish in the day and the things that you would want to keep away from, it can lead to a very, very positive impact, not just on your mental health, but also on the things that you can accomplish during the day. The 10th Mind Sutra is called as Ishwar Pranidhan, or the ability to surrender to a higher power, whether you call it divine, universe, or higher power. The ability to surrender, the ability to say that there is something bigger in life than just us. And again, there have been literally an avalanche of studies which have shown that people who pray or who believe in a higher power, compared to people who think that they are the source of everything in their life, it has been shown that they have much better mental health, and not just mental health, even physical health, compared to people who do not really believe in God, universe, higher power, whatever you call it. So even positive psychologists believe that kind of praying to a higher power, or at least the ability to surrender and say, okay, something else will take care of my burden, is an ability that really helps us take care of our future anxieties and past depressions. So I hope that you really enjoyed knowing these 10 friends from Mind Sutras. If you want to know more about these 10 friends, do refer to my book called The Mind Sutras. I have co-authored this book with my friend Dr. Shefali Gupta, and you could follow us or look up for more mind management tools on our website or Facebook page. Thank you.